everybody. Welcome to Dandelion Cottage. Today is Watercolor Wednesday. I'm Leslie Watkins, and today I thought we would paint some leaves. I got a number of questions about mixing greens, and because we don't have a lot of things in bloom right now, I thought that the leaves would be a great subject. So let's get started. Just a quick announcement, my watercolor classes and paper crafting classes online are getting started this month. If you'd like to learn more about it, go to the website at dandelioncottagedesign.com, and there will be a button to subscribe to something called Notes from Dandelion Cottage, and that is an email that will go to your mailbox once a month on the first of the month, and we'll let you know what that month's schedule is going to be for online classes and how you can register for them. So please check that out, and if you would, let me know if you're watching, and please like and subscribe, and we'll get started. Just checking my computer here to make sure that we're connected. Yes, okay. Now let me get to the right screen. Okay. So this is a rhododendron leaf, and it has a bud. We're not quite ready here for spring, although I saw some pictures on TV of New York, and I saw the trees with blossoms, and it looked gorgeous. We're not anywhere near that in Norfolk yet. But it's a great time to try to develop our painting of leaves. So as you know, or if you're new here, you may not know, I'm painting with just 3 colors, red, yellow, and blue. And so I'm going to do a quick example of some greens, of all the greens you can get with just 3 colors. I'm just going to moisten the page a little bit. Let me zoom you down. Come on, there we go. So here's some yellow. Here's some blue. And if I mix those together, I'm going to get a nice medium green. Now I'm going to add a little more pigment to the puddle on my palette here. So there's a medium green. And if we add more blue to that mixture, we're going to get a cooler, darker green. And as we add more yellow, we're going to get a much lighter green. Now, if I take that blue again, and I mix it with red, I'm going to get a nice violet tone. All right. So on this end of the spectrum, we're getting a red-violet, and then down here, we're getting a blue-violet. So that's a pretty remarkable range of colors we can get with just 3. So here's our 3. Yellow, red, and blue. Okay, and of course we can mix those together and get a nice little prism. So there's our orange, there's our violet, and if we mix a little yellow at this end, we're going to get our greens. And there's much more of this sort of thing in the watercolor classes coming up very soon. So again, if you want to find out what the schedule for those are, please subscribe to Notes. So now let's get back to our greens. So if I take this green spectrum and I take some of this violet and mix that in, I'm going to get a really powerful dark. And that's how we're going to get our shadow mixtures. Okay? So that's the principle. So now I'm going to show you how to apply that. So getting back to our rhododendron, I'm going, let's see, so we've got six leaves. So if I determine where my center is going to be, where this bud is, and I'll kind of put that in a 3/4 view. Get my stem, and there's some little, I don't know if that's a sepal. I guess that would be a sepal right there. You see that? There's some others that haven't come out yet. And if you look carefully, you'll see in here where more buds are coming out at the base of this big one. I'm also noticing that there's some little bumps on the leaf stem, and there's sort of a an orangish cast to the green here. And that each of these leaves is coming out of the stem at a different location. All right, so all of those things are going to become important as I try to capture the character of this specimen. I hope everybody's well and staying in and staying creative. I hope your food supplies are sufficient. What's everybody doing for shopping for food these days? At the end of April, I'm presenting an online class. Registration opened today. That's on the website, Dandelion cottagedesign.com. You can go to online classes and read about the upcoming class and register if you'd like. All of the materials will be mailed to you, so you won't have to leave the house, and you'll be able to follow along at the end of April, so please check that out. So now I have a rough sketch, nothing fancy, just enough to let me know where everything is, kind of a road map. And I'm just going to put this right over here where I can see it. There we go. And I'm going to take a light green mixture, very pale, and I'm just going to run that all over my leaves here in the bud. Very easy. There we go. And adding more blue, as I did in the sample earlier, I'm going to begin to get some of these darker tones established, like so. And I'm working from light to dark in small increments. Adding a little more blue to increase the dark tones a little bit more, bit by bit. Just getting this jagged leaf here that's been damaged by the weather this past winter. There we go. Now, I want to introduce a little red. And one way to do that, as I mentioned, that bud looks to me as though it has a kind of an orangish cast to it. So I'm just going to glaze a little orange over the top. And then in these areas where these leaves attach to the main stem, gets a little darker. So there's a little bit of red in that mixture now. Going darker still with my green mixture, adding more blue. I continue to build up those darks. There we go. Now, if I were working on a larger picture, at this point I would probably get up and go have a cup of coffee, walk the dog, check on the chickens, check my email, and just let this set up. Let me see if we can go in a little more. A little bit. So as you can see from the sheen on the paper, it's still plenty wet. So I don't want to disturb what's there already. But what I can do is I can take some dark accents, and this is getting to that violet mixture mixed into the green, and I can begin to drop that in and just let that kind of swirl around a little bit. In the world of botanical greens, the rhododendron leaves are definitely at the darker end of the value scale. Now, using a very dry brush, I'm going to see if I can tighten up a little bit on my drawing. I do see a little bit of red in here, so I'm going to drop that in. And it's important to work all over your picture at the same time, because whenever you add an additional color like that, it's going to affect the way the rest of the painting looks. So keep moving all around your picture. Now I can, using a dry brush, I'm lifting out some of these areas where the veins are, the central vein of the leaf. And this is just an indication. So this is just a clean brush with no paint on it, dry. And what I'm doing is I'm basically mopping up that area and lifting the paint up. There we go. Give that a little blend. All right. Now I want to go back to my middle tone green, because I want to work on this one a little bit more. It's looking a little pale to me. There we go. And I can go darker yet with my accents. So there's a very dark area in here. Remembering that your paint is going to dry lighter than what it appears. Adding a little more blue to the mixture, and I want to start to develop this bud. And it has a kind of a reddish orange tip to it. So we can put that in. Here we go. Okay, so I think that gives you the basic idea of how to start painting some of these nice dark leaves. I can put a wash over this. So that's the idea, is to just build it up slowly. As you go along. And when this is a little bit drier, I'll be able to go back into it and continue to refine my drawing and get some of these little details. For instance, see if you can see on the bud, it has all these wonderful little scales, but it's too wet for me to put those in right now, so I'm just going to leave it alone. Clean this up a little bit. Don't want to lose my light on my bud here. There we go. Okay, so just a quick video to come on and say hello and to let you know about what's coming up in April. So again, that is the website address on the screen there, dandelioncottagedesign.com. And I will hopefully see you in the online class. So please like and subscribe to the notes, and I'll see you soon. Take care.